Okay, for today's math lesson, you are going to be building your 3D shapes that came in your 3D math package. So I have already built my cube here and I'm going to walk you through. So we're going to be looking at our rectangular prism that you're going to build. So the first thing that you'll notice is for all of our shapes that there's two 3D shapes for each one. You only need to build one, but if you want to build more, you can. And then there's an extra one just in case you make a mistake when you're going through. So the first thing that I did is I very carefully cut out my prism from my sheet. Now you might need some help from a grown-up on this one because we need to make sure that we go very carefully around, because if we don't cut them properly, we won't end up with the right shape. So what I'm going to do next, so if you take a look, I'm going to fold everywhere that there is a dotted line. So I'm going to take my time and I'm going to fold each one of those dotted lines, and I'm folding them in towards where we have the dots. So folding over top. And again, I have some on the inside here too. So I'm going to fold those before I get started. So there's lots of folding to do first before we start gluing. Okay, so again, finding all of those folded lines, then I'm going to fold on my dotted lines here, here, and one more. Okay, now if you take a look, all of the places where I have folded in my little tabs and I have a little white tab, I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to put some glue on each one of the little folded in tabs. So again, all of these tabs, oops, make sure you can see it on the camera, all of our tabs. And again, trying to make sure that I only put it in our folded in tab and not on the other part of the paper. Okay, so I'm going to start one little bit at a time. So I'm going to fold in this back part and then I'm going to line it up and I'm going to press so that I have one corner that is glued here. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So I've got my two corners that are glued in. Okay, now I have this whole long flap. I'm going to bring it up, and while it's still open, I can press along here and do the same thing here. Okay, so now I have the bottom of my rectangular prism. And again, I'm just going to double check that they're glued on and they're not going anywhere before. Okay, so now it looks like I have a little box and all I need to do is close the top of my box. Okay, so I'm going to close this box down. Okay, make sure that my tabs are there. This is the tricky part, and we're going to try and press a little bit. And I have, voila, I have made my rectangular prism. Okay, now I have spread this lesson out into two different work blocks because it's a little finicky and sometimes we need to play with them. And then we're going to set it aside to make sure that it dries. Okay, so then I will have eventually my set of all of my different 3D shapes, which we'll bring to our next Zoom math class so that we can use them together. We're going to see if we can stack them, if they roll, which ones roll and which ones don't. Careful, those ones got stuck to my finger. Okay, so I hope you have fun building your shapes, and we're going to bring them and we'll play with them together in our next Zoom math class. I will see you soon. So I've been playing around with our shapes even more. If you want, you can also fold the tabs on the outside. And that way, if you fold it on the outside, it's a little tricky to see, but you'll see the little dotted edges. And then for those last ones where it's the trickiest to get them to seal, you can even use a little bit of tape to hold them down if you do the folds on the outside instead of doing the inside. Okay, so they will work either way, but you can decide which way is the easiest for you to put them together. So again, this one, you'll see it has all of the little dotted lines folded inside and all glued on. And this one, I did it the other way, and I have my dotted lines, and I put some tape on the outside. So I still have two cubes. They still work absolutely the same, but it's just two different ways of folding. So again, you can choose whichever one. And again, I do suggest that you do this activity with a grown-up to help you get them done, because it's a little bit tricky to get some of those folds and put together. All right, I will see you soon.